Right. Okay. 7 January 2021, and I'm joined by Mr. Tinashe Jonasi from Ideal Zimbabwe. How are you, sir?
I'm still happy and feel blessed because the corona hasn't yet knocked at my door.
Right, that's fantastic. Mr. Jonasi, today we've got a topic that you've handled recently, and this is to do with Beitbridge. And I want to show you the situation that's happening at Beitbridge. I think you've seen this situation. The soldiers have taken over. The South African military has taken over. Zimbabweans are sleeping on the street at Beitbridge. And we have this situation for the past 6 days. So these people that we are seeing here, they have been at Beitbridge since Sunday. They cannot cross over into South Africa, and their babies. At the same time, we have people who are crossing through the river and they're being caught by soldiers. So far, they're arresting 500 Zimbabweans a day. So I want us to go through this situation and say, what is causing this situation that we're seeing at the Beitbridge border, in your view?
In my view, what we are witnessing at Beitbridge border are symptoms of a major disease. This disease, it's in terms of it's administrative. This disease is in terms of citizens. To me, it's a sick society. South Africa is sick. Zimbabwe is sick. Beside COVID, the sickness of the country or society is seen in such. It was this disaster at Beitbridge. It's 100% purely man-made. It's not a natural disaster. So when a disaster is man-made, then it shows the society is sick. To me, this problem is multifaceted. We need to touch different areas of the government itself of Zimbabwe and South Africa, the citizens of Zimbabwe, the cross who are in this case cross borders. And yeah, to me, it's multifaceted. The churches of Zimbabwe, the public in Zimbabwe who are not cross borders, it must touch everyone in this problem. It won't be fair to pinpoint one person or one association or department.
Okay, so let's look at the reason why so many Zimbabweans are crossing. 500 Zimbabweans a day being arrested, trying to cross illegally. And then the ones who are crossing legally, the ones who are flying. Why are so many Zimbabweans coming to South Africa?
Okay. Still, that question needs to be a holistic approach. One of the major reason is that there's economic challenges in Zimbabwe. Then the job market is shrinking every day, of which almost 67.7% of our population in Zimbabwe are young people who are very active in economic activities like jobs and entrepreneurship spaces. So because our job market can't absorb a majority, surely people they look at, to cross over to other countries like Botswana and South Africa. But South Africa is attractive because the policing and the border of South Africa is very porous, and we all know that South Africa, especially inland, policing is also poor because the law enforcing agencies are very corrupt. So South Africa is the most attractive. And also we know that in Zimbabwe, the majority of Zimbabweans are Ndebele people are second largest, and South Africa has got their culture. So South Africa to me is more appealing to Zimbabweans than other neighboring countries because there's no policing actually to talk of.
Okay, but there's always been people crossing over to South Africa every year in December. Why are we seeing these people sleeping in the no man's land between Zimbabwe and South Africa? What has caused this difference this year?
Okay. From the minister, if I'm quoting the Minister of Home Affairs, Comrade Kazembe, he said this year actually the numbers were actually they're actually lower than every holiday, Xmas, December holidays. But now, what is the worsened the situation is the COVID-19 pandemic. Either some people have got fake certificates, and some have got, some they don't have at all, and then they are queuing on the South African side for, they've provided a testing facility. So it's more like the queues are now, one queue is doubled because the majority of people, they've got a fake certificates, if not none at all. And then there's also the two Home Affairs. There's a lack of planning on both the Zimbabwe side and the South African side. This is the busiest border in Africa, and it's known. Surely these two borders must plan together, but there's no coordination. The Minister of Home Affairs of South Africa, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, told us that when Zimbabwe Immigration or Home Affairs Department closed, introduced their level 4 lockdown, they never corresponded. They never, informed the South African counterparts. In other words, these two borders are working like they're not in sync. That's what we are seeing, because we are also told that some people are stamped on the Zimbabwean side, and only to be told on the South African side that maybe we need, people have got valid passports, they are being stamped their passports on the Zimbabwean side. South Africa side, they say we want a work permit or a student permit. If you don't have, then you can't enter. So there's no coordination. There's confusion between these two countries. They are blaming each other instead of working together and finding lasting solutions. And so it's an issue of, we are told that the Zimbabwean interministerial delegation before this crisis, they visited South African side. The South African side told us that we told them that don't come and see us, go and fix all your side, because your side is manual. The Zimbabwean immigration is operating manually. And the Zimbabwean side is coming to say, Zimra, they are saying we are using an automated digital clearance, which is the latest right now. It means the South African side is not even aware that the Zimbabwean side is automated. The South African side, it's like they ignored the Zimbabwean delegation and told them to fix their own side. Their side is fine, and now it's proving their side is also not fine. And this deployment of soldiers and the police by South Africa, it won't work, and it will never work, because the Zimbabweans are challenged economically, and they will rather die. If Zimbabweans are crossing and facing crocodiles, they are dying year in, year out in the rivers. Surely a soldier or a police would mean nothing. They can even travel 200 kilometers down Beitbridge border to just cross. They can be eaten by lions. Remember, these are illegal immigrants. It's illegal crossing. they are not documented, it means we don't even know how many Zimbabweans are just be disappearing in the bitten by poisonous snakes, dying in the bushes. There is a lot, and policing such borders doesn't work. South Africa must even meet the Zimbabwean government, and these problems to be there deeper. They need, surely these two countries have got a rich history. South Africa has been also helped during the apartheid era. We know that even President Zuma at some point was staying in Zimbabwe. South Africa must understand the challenges of Zimbabwe, and they must brotherly sit down and help each other. Otherwise, policing the border is trying to treat a symptom instead of treating the disease.
Okay, so you've touched on a number of things. You've touched on the legal people who are sitting at the center, who have got passports. And we now have also the situation of the people that are going through the river. Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi mentioned that the Zimbabwean military is assisting people to cross illegally. What is your comment on that?
I want to admit that is true, because I've been, I have witnessed things like that, but it's only that it's a half truth. The South African military also helps, they also help, and the police. For someone to cross illegally through the border, this border is divided into 50% Zimbabwe, 50% South Africa. So for someone to cross into South Africa, surely you have got to pass. If South African, Zimbabwean police and Zimbabwean soldiers take bribes, they help you to cross, to cover 50%. The other 50%, you must surely be helped by South African police and the military. So the corruption here, it's both ends, South Africa and Zimbabwe. We can't say it's not correct to, it's half correct to say Zimbabwean police or army are corrupt. It's both sides, because you imagine arresting 500 people a day. These people, they are tired. They end up taking money because they can't stop. Arresting people who are crossing illegally is not a solution. The solution is SADC, South Africa, to sit down with Zimbabwe. Harare administration needs help. It needs help. So they need to help Zimbabwe. Otherwise, if Pretoria doesn't help Harare, I'm told Pretoria is spending 10 million rands a day by deploying the military at the border. And compounded, I mean, without mentioning the economic decline due to the COVID-19 attack, surely the South Africa can't afford that. And
okay, that's a very important statistic that you have given, that they are spending 10 million a day additional. Yeah. And yes, I think you make a very important key point. The other question I want to go to is with regards to the illegal immigrants. The Zimbabwean government, are they able to provide passports for people to travel legally?
Okay, a good question. There's the Harare administration is surely and seriously in trouble economically. We saw our budget, which was launched by the Minister of Finance, Comrade Ngube. That budget, it's money that is in the bank account of an individual person. Our budget, it's seriously small money. Our government right now, they are doing, what can I say? It's kind of they are responding to challenges. They are not ahead. They are not planning ahead of challenges, because the economic decline in our country right now doesn't allow them to mitigate challenges, but just to cut and paste, We know that queues are always long, and actually, no matter people have got passports or not, illegal immigration is traditional, it's cultural, because when people even are provided, I know people who have got passports who cross through the river, or they cross with the passports. When they're in South Africa, they would send the passports with the buses so that they are stamped out, and they stay illegally because they don't want to go through the punishing processes of work permits, which are expensive and everything. When Zimbabweans are comfortable in South Africa, they speak the language, they understand the culture, they know there's intermarriages, there's interrelationships. We have got garden boys, drivers, maids who are working for South Africans, even ministers. They've got either a maid, a garden boy, somewhere there's a Zimbabwean in a South African home or life. So these two countries, they are actually intertwined. They are more like one country. Only there's a border. But when a Zimbabwean is in South Africa, they speak everything. Africans, there are Zimbabweans that I know that you never tell. Even the police won't stop them. If they talk to them, they think they're South Africans. So in terms of separating these countries, whenever my own grandfather, my own father, they were in Wenera. They were in South Africa. So I mean, this border, to me, they must actually make it easy for Zimbabweans to cross, and there must be government-to-government arrangements. And Harare administration, as I said, it needs help. If SADC pretends that the Harare administration doesn't need help, surely these are symptoms that the Harare administration needs help. And South Africa is facing the brunt of denying to seek permanent solutions or medium-term solutions to the Harare challenges.
Okay, I think you make some key points in terms of the relationships between people in Zimbabwe and in South Africa, but I still want to go back to the issue of passports. Okay. Why can't the Zimbabwe government allow people to take passports from the embassies here and birth certificates and other documents from, let's say I'm here in South Africa, my child is born here. Why do I have to go to Zimbabwe to get a birth certificate? Why do I have to go to Zimbabwe to renew my passport? Why can't I do it from our embassies here?
Okay, I would answer on two fronts. The first front is that we know that one of the major challenges, administrative challenges of the government of Zimbabwe, is bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is how things were being done 1970 in Zimbabwe. It's almost the same as now. Our administration is resisting changes. It's not. They are not appreciating the current and modern challenges. Bureaucracy is killing our country. The way of doing things it's something which was being done 50 years, 70 years ago. And it's the same. People are getting challenges even to meet certain minister or certain people. You know, I heard a gossip that to meet some people were paying even 500,000 rands to meet the president, because the people who were around the president, I'm told, people like Comrade Mutodi, I don't know whether it's true or not, but I'm told that some people were asking for bribes because there are bottlenecks. We need even to register companies in Zimbabwe. Zimbabweans must be able to register companies online and do business. Because when we say Zimbabwe is open for business, surely that must reflect on in reality. Right now, people, let's say, I meet some people who ask me, do you know how I can invest in Zimbabwe? The information as to how would you invest, maybe you are a millionaire or whatever, it's you need to investigate, to hunt it down. There must be even, I don't know, I can call them what they're called, what For example, when you are calling call centers, there are critical departments like the department of like passports, immigration, investment. These departments must have call centers 24 hours. You can call, you can WhatsApp, because our country economy is bleeding. We need to boost. Even someone who is going to invest in buying bananas and reselling in the street need to have access to information. We need to ease the way of doing business. Passport, South Africa, without denying, is a Zimbabwe light, or we can say Zimbabwe B. Surely there must be arrangements that our home affairs, our department must have, our homeland must have an office in Pretoria, even at the embassy, and surely they must even be able to print the passports, probably in 3 days, and issue them out. Not even someone to apply in South Africa, and then I don't know whether they are afraid that there will be fake passports. I don't know in terms of securing our passports. I wouldn't know about that. I'm not an expert, but I surely even if the passports are printed in Harare, people must be able to apply in Pretoria, and their passports are sent to South Africa.
Okay, so now we've dealt with the illegal people who are crossing illegally. Now let's go to the people that are crossing legally. The Home Affairs Minister of South Africa, he says that the Zimbabwean government did not inform the South African government when they closed the border. They just woke up one day and there was a stampede from Zimbabwe as people were trying to beat the deadline. Is he wrong?
Is he correct? If indeed the South African Pretoria was not informed by Harare, then to me it becomes what can I say? It's more like a panic, impulsive reaction. Surely there was supposed to be some consultations, some engagements of some sort. Even this sudden announcement is part of the cause, because surely people who were holidaying in Zimbabwe had different days to come to South Africa. Obviously, people can't come to South Africa same day, but they were made to come because this congestion to me was purely the major cause was to try to beat the deadline. To me, Harare was supposed to announce probably even 10 days or probably, I don't know, but there was supposed to be some communication with South Africa, and also a bit of time was needed for people not to do panic returning to South Africa.
Okay, so before I go to the next question, I just want to respond to Mpo. She mentioned that there's going to be a crisis of COVID infections. So as of this evening, 104 people have tested positive for coronavirus at the Beitbridge border. So the people who are sitting in that group, 104 of them have tested positive, and they're supposed to quarantine before they come into South Africa. So there's already a crisis. My next point, or my next question is now, South Africans have been tweeting, and the hashtag close the borders has been trending. Are South Africans justified to say, let these people who are coming from other countries stay in their own countries? Because South Africa is already overwhelmed by COVID. You saw today's reporting, South Africa has ran out of coffins. It's in all the newspapers today because of the deaths that are happening here. Are South Africans justified to say, given the problems that we have, Zimbabweans must not be allowed to just come here without controls?
Okay, South Africans are justified because I mustn't speak as a Zimbabwean. I must speak also. I mean, the immigration, the immigration in South Africa is a failed policy. To be honest, we have got millions and millions of illegal immigrants in South Africa. And to those who stay in South Africa, we all know that urban city centers, especially apartments, you'll be forgiven to think that you are not in South Africa, you are in a foreign country. So the South Africa is overwhelmed by foreigners, and it's also putting pressure on their health system. It's putting pressure on their job market. It's a challenge. It's a huge challenge, and sometimes we also judge them harshly and say they are xenophobic, but it's a challenge because Zimbabweans, we must put our heads together and seriously fix our country. We need to fix our country. We need to help each other to fix our country. Otherwise, it's a matter of time. South Africa is xenophobic attacks and xenophobic sentiments are already on social media streets. It might not take a long time for it to play out in the streets.
Okay, let's start with the short-term solutions. You've already talked about other solutions, how SADC can assist Zimbabwe. Why doesn't Zimbabwe take all the people that are between the border of Zimbabwe and South Africa, who don't have permits, who are not wanted by the South Africans, who won't get stamped? Why don't they say to them through an announcement, if you are sleeping on this no man's land and you don't have a passport with a permit, come back to Zimbabwe?
Okay. Honestly speaking, Zimbabwe have sent already a military helicopter, and they've deployed on their side people to also monitor and stop this illegal immigration. But to me, Harare can't do much because the economic meltdown in the country is a pushing factor. Remember, immigration can only be controlled when people are traveling because they are skilled workers, they are tourists. Normally, in a normal situation, citizens leave their country to work in a foreign country as expatriates or as tourists. But in the case of Zimbabwe, citizens are pushed out of the country. So there's no way the Zimbabwe government can assist these people because we all know it's estimated that there are plus or minus 6 million Zimbabweans in South Africa. And we know that probably 80% are illegal immigrants. So we are looking at something like 3.5 to 4 million illegal immigrants. And this number is ballooning every day. So I think people who are in South Africa or who are crossing to South Africa can even be a quarter or can be even a third of the population of the country.
Yeah, so, but the Zimbabwe government, are they not just saying, go to South Africa, once you have passed our border, you're not our problem?
Okay. To me, the economic challenges in Zimbabwe, surely they make our government incapacitated to respond to whether it's natural or man-made disasters. Because as I said, that Harare is already overwhelmed by the economic challenges. There's COVID-19. Now there's immigration challenges. Motivated by the economic challenges. The real solution and the permanent solution to all this is fixing of the Zimbabwean economy. any other measures or activities are cut and paste, and they won't work. Because remember, these people are running. It's not everyone who is working, staying in South Africa. Some are new travelers because they want to beat the lockdown. Because surely our government, I don't believe that they are going to have a stimulus, a COVID-19 stimulus or cushion to the citizens who are, because we know that probably over 60% of our economy is informalized. You're talking about vendors, you're talking about everything. So when there's a level 4 lockdown, surely the government must cushion the citizens. But because the government is also incapacitated and they are supposed to respond to the COVID-19 disaster. So these people, they know from the previous lockdown that since we are informal, in the informal sector, when we are in the level 4, we are going to starve. These people are aware that they're going to starve from the previous lockdown. So surely they're running away from, most people here are even running away from the lockdown.
Okay. So do you agree then with people like Hopo Chingono, who are speaking today in the South African press, to say that the problem is actually that Cyril Ramaphosa is not confronting the government of Idi Mnangagwa, and he only reacts to the problem, but he does not want to directly confront Mnangagwa and his ZANU-PF?
I don't agree with Hopewell. Why I don't agree with Hopewell? The problems facing Zimbabwe must not be politicized. The moment we politicize them, then we won't have a solution. Because I would say I'm Tinashe Jonasi, I'm from Ideal Zimbabwe. Someone would say I'm so and so, I'm from MDC. Politics is dividing Zimbabwe every day. So if we include the politics in anything in Zimbabwe, already we have put a dividing line. If I approach ZANU-PF as Ideal Zimbabwe, they will completely shut me off. If ZANU-PF approaches MDC as ZANU-PF, MDC would shut ZANU-PF off. If for once, because the elections are done, I think this is a chance for us as Zimbabweans to stop playing politics and see the COVID-19 pandemic in Zimbabwe is non-political. The economic challenges in Zimbabwe are non-political. Why? Because these people at the border, Beitbridge border post, some are our members, some are ZANU-PF members, some are MDC. It's across the political divide. Hopewell is patriotic, but his patriotism is deleted by his political stance. Hopewell is clearly an MDC alliance senior member who can't declare his membership for strategic reasons. But there's no denial that Hopewell is a standing committee member of the Chamisa Chete party. So when President Ramaphosa doesn't have the power to confront President Idi, he doesn't have that power. He has got the power to brotherly engage and then find lasting solutions. Surely Harare needs assistance from SADC, from Africa, from Europe, from whoever, and mostly from us as citizens, because it won't help for us to isolate the president, for us to isolate the government, because the government includes us. I always tell people that as a citizen of Zimbabwe, you are naturally a partner of the government of Zimbabwe. But people are confusing ZANU-PF and the government. Every Zimbabwean citizen applies passport. That passport you are given by government, which is the flavor, which is ZANU-PF flavored. Everyone is going through the border, paying duty. And there are some people, they will say that there are some people, someone is a ZANU-PF project, someone is a ZANU-PF enabler. anyone who is in Zimbabwe, you are a ZANU-PF enabler, because the system that is governing is ZANU-PF. The police is run by ZANU-PF. Everything, ZANU-PF is the ruling power, ruling party. So if we deny reality, we are going to deny solutions. We need to work together and forget about politics. The political lines must be drawn 6 months before 2023, so that we campaign. But these COVID-19 economic challenges, they are surely non-political. And let's not also deny that this Second Republic took over a collapsed healthcare, a collapsed economy. And for us to just imagine, they've got their strength, they've got their weaknesses. Surely they are not angels, but Zimbabweans, we are good at demonizing each other in foreign. I saw even Opo's post before. I haven't seen his interview with his NCA, but he was proudly saying, I told South Africa that the crisis at Beitbridge is as a result of COVID-19, of corruption and looting. Hope is always talking about looting and corruption. The mantra that was also indoctrinated to Father Mahere, the mantra that MDC Alliance was indoctrinated by the US Embassy or their campaign manager, Brian Nicholson. MDC are just talking of corruption and looting. They don't focus on any other problems in Zimbabwe. Nothing. If we had that MDC or Hopewell has donated sanitary pads, even worth $10 to the people stuck at the border post, nothing. If we had that MDC has donated, nothing. If we had that churches, big churches like UFI, it's a big church. I mean, Prophet Magaya church, it's a big church. Zaroja, it's a big church. ZCC, it's a big church. Where are these churches? Where are they?
Okay. So Mr. Jonas, I think the point you're making is going to solve problems and keep the people at the border. What we're trying to do is to make sure that people don't. This situation started on 13 December. Yeah. When people were traveling on the other direction. Yes. And then now we have the same situation since Sunday. Mm-hmm. People are stuck at the border. Mm-hmm. The question I'm asking is, in the short term, why can't General Chiwenga and all the other people there who are acting president, why can't they make an announcement? If you don't have a permit to go into South Africa, we need you back on Zimbabwean soil, so that people don't lie on the road. I showed you how people are sleeping on the road. They're sleeping on the road. Why can't they make that short-term statement so that we have this crisis over? Because South Africans cannot chase them back.
Okay.
That is the first question. And then the second question, on the long term, why can't they develop solutions so that we don't have Zimbabweans continue to come over here in the way that they're doing?
Okay, all right. Let me touch on the issue of an announcement. I don't think that any leader of any country needs to announce that the citizens are allowed or are welcome within their country. I mean, it won't be correct that people at Beitbridge are stuck because they are not allowed into Zimbabwe. I strongly believe that it won't be correct that people at the border are not allowed back into Zimbabwe. It won't be
people
correct.
Are afraid that if they turn back, they will never be able to pass again the Zimbabwean side. Because remember, if you go back, it will now be a struggle to come into South Africa again. People are desperately staying in that middle no man's land. so that they don't get chased back. So the announcement has to, those people have to be forced out of that area. The South Africans cannot do it. Why does General Chiwenga and Adi, who are now in charge at the moment, not make that announcement to take these people from there?
Okay, I think before we talk about the acting president's announcements, I don't think we have got a disaster management department in Zimbabwe. I doubt that there is a disaster response. I mean, I don't think so, because I don't see any practical response from the government. Why I'm saying so? Because obviously we have got a Minister of Social Development, Social Welfare, sorry. But people are running out of pads, the pampers, and the food and everything. I think the government is sleeping. The entire government, because the government must not just react when there's a crisis. There must be systems and structures in place. We don't need a president or a vice president or acting president to announce. A government is a system. So
okay, but how is this going to be solved? Because if you arrived there on Sunday, your COVID certificate has expired. As we speak right now, all the COVID certificates for everyone who is stuck there is expired. Who is going to tell these people that your COVIDs have expired? You don't have permits. You need to go back to Zimbabwe, or else you're just going to keep this international attention on Zimbabwe is going to continue. If people start dying there in that area, who do you think is going to have the bad image now? Don't you think that the Zimbabwe government should, in fact, send buses? If people don't have bus fare, you heard Mr. Dennis Juru this afternoon saying the people who are there don't have money to go back because they paid their bus fare to go to South Africa.
No, the government in this whole thing is to blame. The government is to blame 100% because they've got departments, social welfare, home affairs. The government is, that's why I'm saying in this whole thing, the government is sleeping, because the situation was supposed to be mitigated, let's say the second day. The first day, probably they were collecting data and maybe they were understanding what is happening. And I still blame the bottleneck in our government, that there is a lot of, I don't even understand why after General Chiwenga had the press conference, and then the Comrade Mohadi had another press conference, and to me, these two press conferences looks similar. I don't think maybe it was an excitement that they are both now acting. You know, the president is on holiday. I don't know whether it was an opportunity to shine, but I still think that our government is the bottlenecks are too much, and the rate of response is telling us that there is confusion from lower structures of the government to the high structures. This chaos at the Beitbridge border doesn't need a president, doesn't need a vice president. We don't need an acting president to do this. The government must be well structured to respond to this. But surely I can say the government of Zimbabwe in this whole crisis, they are sleeping.
Okay, Mr. Jonase, I know normally you don't want me to surprise you. There's Philip wants to join, but obviously Philip has been banned by Mr. Jonase.
No, he's allowed to join, but when me and you we finish, he can continue. But
okay, so I'm not going to take.
I don't want to engage with him.
Okay, I'm not going to put Philip. I want to add Ignatius. Is that fine with you?
Yeah, no, any other person. I don't want to engage with a person that you would want to push a narrative that I know.
Okay, so Philip, I'm going to make a chance for you another day. You are welcome to come tomorrow and we have a chat. Ignatius, I've sent you a link. You can join the link now and we can talk. What I'm trying to say here, Mr. Jonasi, is the government of Zimbabwe cannot just say hands off when the South Africa government is spending 10 million a day. There must be a response from the Zimbabwe government. And currently, they are leaving people whose COVID certificates have expired, who don't have permits, who will never be allowed to go in, who are desperately hanging at the center there, saying we won't leave until you allow us to go in, which won't happen. And we've looked at the short-term solutions. The government of Zimbabwe does not have short-term solution. They don't have long-term solution. You've suggested so many things, including 3 separate entries for the Beitbridge border. You've said they need to put 3 borders there, maybe one for commercial traffic, one for trucks, one for tourists. This has never been done. The Zimbabwean government is not showing seriousness. What should we do as Zimbabweans? What is the next step that needs to be taken
now? Because the December holidays are always traditionally known that there is too much influx of people, and the COVID-19 has been there, and we were all aware that there will be a second wave. So I think, and it started somewhere around November, the second wave. So the Zimbabwean government was aware of the COVID, the second wave. They were aware of the December holidays. Nothing happened that has really taken them by surprise. They've been aware of all the permutations. So what I'm saying is the response of our government is unfortunate, because surely there are Zumbuko buses. There's a lot, even to send something, maybe even a 10,000 US budget to sanitary pads and other things. We know that there might be economic challenges, but they were supposed to be a response. As you also say, they were supposed to give these people a reprieve, whether a 1-week reprieve, or to say you can come back. People can come back into the mainland Zimbabwe and still be able to be allowed back to just temporarily ease the crisis, because the event now at the border is a super spreader of COVID-19. The same that they are announcing lockdown level 4, but still now people are spreading the disease among each other. So it doesn't serve the purpose then.
Okay. So, Mr. Jonasi, I think what we have to do now is we've gone for over 50 minutes. I didn't want this to go for this long. So the guys that wanted to join, let's do this tomorrow. I am likely going to be having the MDCT spokesperson here tomorrow to talk about the same issue. They've issued a statement today, and they're basically saying the same. You can go to their Twitter. They've issued a statement on the situation at Beitbridge. And it's a sad situation because people died on the 13th to the 1st. A lot of people died, including truck drivers. Now we have people who are stuck, and they'll soon start dying because most of them are not eating properly. There's no restaurant there, and there's no hope for them to ever come into South Africa if their COVIDs expire. So, Mr. Jonas, I saw you wanted to say something there. Is there something else you want to say?
I want to ask you, what is happening between you and this Philip thing? I want to understand. I really want.
Mr. Jonas, the way you said Philip thing, you get me into trouble because
no. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I'm saying Philip thing. Why? Because it is not of value to this discussion. Last time you put him in and you asked him, are you aware of the topic under discussion? He clearly said he was not he had no knowledge of the topic on discussion. So it surprises me when a person is put on a platform where there's a topic of discussion that is not even aware of. I mean, so why would that person be on the topic of discussion? I mean, so that's why I'm actually so shocked that the same person is coming. Our country is undergoing serious challenges, and it needs people to contribute to practical solutions, not someone with a certain internet radio which is failing, which failed already, and who just want to boost his listeners through engaging with Tinashe. He must have his own show on Gambakwe and talk. He mustn't boost his radio station through me. I refuse that.
Okay. I did invite him, and I don't want him to make I don't want to make a topic out of Philip. Philip, you're welcome to come here and talk on your own day. So I'm gonna invite you, and we'll have a chat. I know you've got a lot to contribute. Then I want to address the issue of the MDC Alliance.
Yeah.
I have on many occasions asked the MDC Alliance guys to come here and talk. The truth is that the MDC Alliance communication department is not properly organized. Fadzai here is not available. You have not seen her since last year, December, talking. So she's not available to talk. She's probably busy with something else. The other MDC Alliance guys are not available to talk, not only on Gambakwe, but on their own platforms.
Okay. So let me tell you about MDC Alliance. MDC Alliance are not open to talk to people because they've got a narrative. Their narrative is being pushed by Hopewell. Corruption and looting. Full stop. Now the third one, ED ZANU-PF must go. They won't tell you that ED ZANU-PF must go and how. And their supporters who are brainwashed and who are extremely foolish, they don't question their leaders. ZANU-PF must go. Fine. How? The how part is not being answered. It's just we want to vote. Look at the post Jamisa did today on his Facebook page. 1 million words. Nothing. No, we are in the struggle. We are under attack from ZANU-PF, but we are going to prevail. You are which attack and which prevail? You are going to prevail how? What under attack? So MDC is a grouping of people who are daydreamers. So they don't have substance to speak. I was lost. I was in that narrative of ZANU-PF must go. ZANU-PF would go away. Let's say another party. Let's say another party wins the elections tomorrow. Surely ZANU-PF people would remain in Zimbabwe. They will never go to Malawi or go to Mozambique. So MDC is, that's why they even stopped their own people from discussing within their MDC Alliance WhatsApp groups, because they are feeding a false narrative. So a false narrative won't stand. Zimbabweans are in mixed groups. Right now, there's social media, WhatsApp, to Facebook and WhatsApp, where Zimbabweans from ZANU-PF, from MDC Alliance, from everywhere, they are together. And that's a threat to MDC Alliance. The more Zimbabweans are engaging, the more Chamisa is losing sweetness like a bubble gum. So that's why their spokespersons, they can't speak anything. You rather, it's better you record a voice note that says 3 words: looting, corruption, ED, ZANU-PF must go. So whenever there's a chance for MDC Alliance to be on your platform, just play that audio, which speaks 3 words. That's MDC Alliance in summary. Then you are done.
Okay, right, Mr. Jonas, I want to give you a break. I want to put Chris on the screen. Chris, I'm gonna put you here. Please observe the fact that we've got parents here. So let's keep our language clean. Right, thanks, Chris, it's your chance to speak.
Thanks, Gambakwe. Can you hear me?
Yes, clearly.
Okay, thank you very much. I just want to agree and also disagree to what Mr. Jonas is saying in regards to saying that the government of Zimbabwe is not to blame in regards to the situation of the people that are flocking into South Africa at the moment. You know, the reason why Zimbabweans are flocking into South Africa is because of the poor government of our republic. I think last time we had ANC delegates confirming that there is no crisis in Zimbabwe. Clearly, there is crisis in Zimbabwe, hence why people are actually coming through to South Africa. So this is to actually give a clear sign to the Republic of South Africa to say that there is crisis in Zimbabwe. Surely, if there wasn't crisis or if there was no crisis in Zimbabwe, I don't believe that people of Zimbabwe or Zimbabweans were going to flock to South Africa the way that they are flocking at this stage. The situation in Zimbabwe, South Africa has got a very pivotal role to play in resolving the crisis in Zimbabwe. That we cannot dispute. Also, yes, we agree that Zimbabweans have got the right and the role to play as Zimbabweans in order to free themselves out of the current situation. But also South Africa, we don't need to exclude South Africa that it has a pivotal role to play in resolving the current situation, whatever economic situation, whatever situation that our country is facing at this stage. What I want to elaborate is that why is it Zimbabweans are not going to Malawi? Why is it Zimbabweans are not going to Zambia, to Mozambique? Yes, there are Zimbabweans in those respective countries that I've just mentioned, but the largest number of people who are actually going out of the country, they are going to South Africa because that's the only country that at the moment in Southern Africa is showing milk and honey. And that's the only country where people can actually live. And it's not only Zimbabweans in South Africa. We've got Nigerians, Malawians, Zambians, all over, people from all over the world. They're actually in South Africa. So what I want to try to say here is that ANC must engage ZANU-PF properly in a political manner as well as in a brotherly manner in order to resolve the situation that the country is facing at the moment. Yes, I agree that we do not need to politicize everything, to say MDC that, ZANU-PF that, whatever party that. It is high time that Zimbabweans, we must come together, work together in resolving the situation that our country has been suffering from for almost over than 2 decades now. But also we need to ensure we give, you know, other platforms to, like, to South Africa, Ramaphosa government, to intervene and also to talk to our political leaders, to our government, to our opposition leaders, and come up with a way that they can actually resolve this situation. Because if the situation really continues to be like this, the situation is really dire, and a lot of Zimbabweans will continue to flock in South Africa, and which is not very good. And our country is actually not benefiting from people who are actually going to other countries, especially in South Africa, give cheap labor services that side, and our country is actually losing. So I'm really very much concerned about the way Mr. Jonas is putting it across, to say that it's not an issue to say that Mnangagwa cannot be approached, has got nothing to do with the current situation that the country is facing. The government must be properly structured whatsoever. Mnangagwa, let's realize and let's also remember that Mnangagwa is the head of the government. So he is actually answerable to every situation, to every circumstance, to every everything that actually happens in the country. He is answerable. He is the head of the state. So whatever happens within our country or within our people, Mnangagwa, he is supposed to be answering, and is supposed to be questioned, and also especially also as well in parliament. Since Mnangagwa was inaugurated into this office, at first I remember when he was saying he is the listening president, but we have never seen him in parliament being asked questions and answer questions from the public, which is very, very, very weird of a president who is running the country and does not appear to his electorate in order to answer questions and to actually, like, tell his electorate what are his intentions and
okay. Chris, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you, Chris, and I want to wrap up. What you are saying, Mr. Jonas has said it before, Mnangagwa should answer questions in parliament. I want to ask you the last question here with regards to the people who are sitting right now at Beitbridge. They are sitting in the no man's land. I don't know how many thousand people are there. There's quite a lot if you look at the numbers that are being shown. What should happen to all these people that are currently stuck between Zimbabwe and South Africa?
What should happen, Mr. Gambako, is that both government must put measures in order to assist these people, because these people, they are not just coming through to South Africa for no apparent reason. Surely if Zimbabwe was well, if Zimbabwe was stable, those people wouldn't be flocking to South Africa the way that they are flocking now. So there is a reason why those people are coming through to South Africa. Number one, people, they are looking for jobs. Number two, there is a hunger in Zimbabwe. Hence why people are coming through in order to look for green pastures. So definitely the South African government must approach their humanitarian aid and etc. in order to assist those people, because we are in Southern Africa. Those people must not just be left stranded the way they are, because looking at the fact that there is COVID-19 and the extras, some structures must be put in place in order to assist those people and address the problem later. So I really think that chasing away those people or just neglecting them is not going to resolve anything, and it's not helping anything. They must find ways in order to assist those people. And at first, South African government was saying there is no crisis. There is the crisis, because when South Africa says there is no crisis, people definitely will come through to South Africa, because it's the crisis in Zimbabwe is gonna be the crisis of South Africa. So both government must address the situation in the ground and be frank enough to unveil what is causing people to flock to Zimbabwe. Because it's a pity, for Mnangagwa to be looking at his own people, suffering the way they are suffering like that, and they are keeping quiet the way they are keeping quiet. It's really a shame. Mnangagwa must be ashamed of himself. A republic, a sovereign republic, must be able to look after its own people. And what is happening now at the border of Beitbridge is clearly an indication that Mnangagwa is failing. Because honestly speaking,
but is it Mnangagwa or is this Chiwenga? I want you to answer that question. When Mnangagwa was there, he did not declare the lockdown. Was this lockdown done as soon as Mnangagwa left because Chiwenga thought this was the solution?
Okay, the thing is, when a lockdown is imposed, Gambakwe, they should have proper consultation, before they announced the lockdown. So obviously, they are those who are in the presidium or those that assist the presidium in order to come up with solutions and all these alternatives of announcing a lockdown. Chiwenga cannot announce a lockdown by himself unless otherwise having consulted, some private sectors and people within his authority, some advisors. These people, they all obviously work with advisors. So why am I saying Mnangagwa continuously or repeatedly? It's because of this is the same government. You understand? So there is nothing that Chiwenga can just do by himself. This is the same government. Whatever Chiwenga does, that is the exact what Mnangagwa would have done as well. So obviously we can say Mnangagwa was not there, but obviously he was consulted somewhere, somehow. Obviously we might not know, but this is the same government. So we keep on directing all our concerns to Mnangagwa because this is the same government. There is no way that Chiwenga can work without consulting other people that can actually assist him in this regard.
Okay, Chris, thank you very much for joining this discussion. And I would like to ask you to just get out of the studio. Then I want to wrap up with Mr. Jonas. You can watch from home and maybe we can have other discussions in the future where you can come by yourself. And thanks for joining.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Jonas, you can see that we have not gotten a proper solution. South Africa is spending 10 million a day to keep their soldiers, their police, home affairs, patrols. But the Zimbabwe government has not done anything. They've not responded with any action to remove the people who are jumping the border, because you could block people from jumping from the Zimbabwe side, and you could also remove your people from the no man's land. Okay. I haven't had a proper solution there.
Okay, no, the Zimbabwean government, they have responded. They have sent a military helicopter and some also deployments to stop the illegal crossing into South Africa. They've sent a military helicopter. In that regard, they've responded. But let's not forget that the South Africa has got a financial muscle more than the Zimbabwean side. We know the challenges. And then I want to touch on this guy, on this member who was talking about Mnangagwa, and the crisis in Zimbabwe. That is the MDC alliance narrative. Mnangagwa here is being persecuted because he must vacate the office for Chamisa to come in. That's the problem. We are always talking of Mnangagwa replaced by Chamisa, by this. This is not responding to the problem on the ground. We should ask ourselves, we have got in other countries, what is happening at the border right now? We have got non-profit organizations in Zimbabwe, the civic society. They are very quiet right now. They are quiet. We have got the crisis. We have got an organization even called the Crisis in Zimbabwe Coalition. Crisis in Zimbabwe Coalition. MDC Alliance is telling Zimbabweans that there's a crisis in Zimbabwe. And they've got their own organization called the Crisis in Zimbabwe Coalition. That surely must respond to the crisis if there's any crisis in Zimbabwe. And those organizations are quiet. If those organizations speak, they would say Mnangagwa, ZANU-PF. I'm not defending Mnangagwa in ZANU-PF here. But what I'm trying to say is, where are non-profit organizations right now? Where are the churches in Zimbabwe right now? Because civic society is made up of Zimbabweans. They are sleeping. They are ignoring. Churches, we know Prophet Makandiwa is a good preacher. We know Prophet Magaya is a good preacher. We have got Baguti, Ezekiel Gutu, of a big church with millions who are paying everything. Whatever is doing is happening. They can pay money to build their university in Bindura, under Zayoja. We have got ZCC Mbungu. We have got Mazibaba, that church. When they wear white all over the country. Zimbabwe is painted white with Mapostoli. But even if they can contribute $2 now, in their numbers, they can raise $1 million within a day. We should blame the government, yes. But let's not forget that the government of Zimbabwe includes the churches, includes us. The contributor on the platform is not promising us to contribute 200 rands tomorrow towards the people at the border. A country is built by individual effort, that when we come together, it becomes a nation. We don't have a nation in Zimbabwe because of the poisonous mindset. We are poisonous. Zimbabweans right now, we are a danger to ourselves. We are a danger to each other. We have got business people in Zimbabwe. The word Mbinga is trending in Zimbabwe. The word Mbinga is trending. Twabam is trending in Zimbabwe as a multimillionaire. We are not hearing that Twabam is contributing $1,000. So the problem, I said the chaos at the border is a symptom of a sick society. Zimbabwe is sick. What is the disease of Zimbabwe? Our mindset. Every Zimbabwean is mentally disturbed somehow. We need mental therapy. We are sick as a nation. And I'm also included. Those who say Tinashe Jonas is a mental case, that it's true. Maybe I need psychiatric evaluation. But every Zimbabwean must go to Ngomahuru and be locked up there. I don't see any Zimbabwean who is normal, because there's a chaos at the border. But we have got pride in blaming each other and each other. Every Zimbabwean, the contributor was saying President E.D. Mnangagwa must be ashamed of himself. That's true. He must be ashamed of himself. Him, myself, everyone. If the president is supposed to be ashamed, every Zimbabwean must be ashamed. No Zimbabwean can walk pompously that I'm a better Zimbabwe. And when one Zimbabwean dies, when one Zimbabwean is sick, we should all be affected. So it mustn't be correct that certain Zimbabweans must be proud, certain Zimbabweans must be ashamed when COVID-19 is affecting everyone. In other countries, even a person can drive his car and go to the border and contribute even to $20, even to feed 5 people. That's why I'm saying the ZANU-PF must be blamed. Ideal Zimbabwe must be blamed. MDCT, when I'm happy when you say MDCF issued a statement. That's nothing. Is that statement helping people at the border? That's playing politics. Is MDC Alliance is contributing? Nothing. We are good to talking. We are good to blaming each other. Can for once as Zimbabweans, we take responsibility. It's good to blame the government day in, day out. But what are we doing as a country? A country means Tinashe Jonas. Tinashe Jonas is on Gambakwe media. Tinashe Jonas has not donated $10 to the people at the border. Churches in Zimbabwe, Tinashe must be ashamed. Churches in Zimbabwe must be ashamed. Anyone who calls him a prophet in Zimbabwe or a papa, to me, that person is a liar. Any pastor, any bishop, they are there to rob from the same poor people. The same people stuck at the border are people who pay tithes, are people who do seeding in churches. A church is a refuge of poor, of widows, of orphans. But in the Bible, they say maybe 5,000 people were fed by one man, Jesus. But our churches now, 5,000 people are feeding the pastor. The pastor is driving expensive cars. The pastor is staying in expensive houses. Where are they, the pastors now? And that money for tithes, where is it? We should be ashamed of ourselves as Zimbabweans, because our country is sick, and the sickness is the mental. We have got mental sickness as Zimbabweans. We are not responding to the problem at the border. We are pointing fingers. Every Zimbabwean is sick.
Okay, Mr. Jonas, I think at this point we need to end this discussion. And as I said before, the solution that is needed is short-term, and then there's a long-term solution. And I don't think we have explored these solutions, because I agree with you that I have a part to play.
Yes,
I've got a lot of solutions that I have in my mind. I have personally approached.
Yes. Mr. Gambakwe, let me challenge you. Let me challenge you to donate anything you can to the people at the border at a personal level. That's the short-term solution. Any other Zimbabwean, whether it's a company, whether it's a church, let's not look to. The problem is that we are saying, you know what we are saying as Zimbabweans? As Zimbabweans, we are saying to ZANU-PF, we are punishing ZANU-PF for winning elections. ZANU-PF is punished because every problem in Zimbabwe must be attended by ZANU-PF, whilst everyone is folding their hands. ZANU-PF is not ZANU-PF. What is ZANU-PF? ZANU-PF is a logo. A party, a political party is only a logo. There are people who joined the ZANU-PF. We are no longer in ZANU-PF. MDC, its members are people who left ZANU-PF. So, and some are living back to ZANU-PF. People are moving inside the party and outside the party. But regardless of the movement of people into a party or out of the party, every person is a Zimbabwean. What are we doing at individual level? What are we doing as a church? What are we doing as a company? What are we doing as a non-profit organization? Mr. Gambakwe, let's approach Zimbabwe as a nation. We don't as a nation.
I do get you, but what I'm trying to explain is, you mentioned that there needs to be a structured response, disaster management approach. So obviously the donating of the pampers and the diapers and the water and the food, that's short term. But I think that we need a longer term solution, because I'm based in South Africa. So if the guys who are in Harare need assistance to solve the problem, because the problem doesn't end at the border. If you drive in Johannesburg on any day, there are thousands of young Zimbabweans sitting outside, sitting in front of builders. They're doing odd jobs. That is not acceptable. So if we are to be honest, we need a solution so that in 10 years' time, there is no Zimbabwean left in South Africa. So the government of Zimbabwe can...
There you are right, but let me touch on the issue of Hopewell Chingono. Hopewell, I've talked to people personally who are crying that Hopewell defrauded them in London. I've got so many people that I know who are crying that Hopewell committed fraud in London and even changed his name. But I don't want to personalize this issue. But what I'm saying is, Hopewell, we know that Hopewell is having dinner and breakfast with American ambassador. Why is Hopewell not driving to the US embassy and get donation? Because they listen to him. Why is Hopewell not just get donation from the American embassy? So my point, Mr. Gambakwe, is, of course, I've pointed the weaknesses of the government, that they've got bottlenecks, they've got bureaucracy. The things they take long because they're not transforming themselves quicker. We can point the weakness of the government the whole day, but at the end of the day, that government is made up of Tinashe, is made up of Hopewell, is made up of Nelson Chamisa and everyone. I am saying the symptoms at the border are symptoms of a sick country. People from ZANU-PF are products of Zimbabwe. People in MDC are coming from Zimbabwe. So every Zimbabwean is a mirror of our society. Surely there mustn't be any heroes in Zimbabwe today, because every Zimbabwean has got a mouth to talk. Every Zimbabwean has got fingers to type on social media. But how many Zimbabweans are found dirty and smelling building the country? Those are few. In the US, we have got donors in America. We have got individual donors in America who can donate a lot, who can build industries. I know Zimbabweans who have got companies outside Zimbabwe and who doesn't have a branch in the country. Mr. Magambagwe, what I'm saying in short is that the government, ZANU-PF, have got weaknesses, but Zimbabwe as a society, we are sick. We need to change our mindset and preach love and start practical solutions from individual level. Every Zimbabwean who is watching here, who is typing comments, is typing negative comments about Tinashe, about Gambakwe media, about ZANU-PF, but that Zimbabwean is a useless person. That Zimbabwean, the whole year, the whole week, that Zimbabwean is doing nothing to make a better country, other than to say Chamisa to be a president. So, and the fact is, the ED is in the office of the president. Chamisa is not in the office of the president, and Chamisa doesn't have a strategy. People who support Chamisa must not hate ED. If ED is in the office of the president, it's through his strategies, conventional or unconventional. Chamisa is not in the office of the president because he doesn't have strategies. Whether they say ED is in power by force, if ED can convince the army to salute him, if ED can convince the CIOs to salute him, if ED can convince the police to salute him, then he deserves to be a president. If Chamisa can convince the army, can convince the CIOs, then he must do his pumvuza in Gutu. So people must agree that Chamisa is not a president. And Chamisa, if he's going to be a president, his turn is going to come. Otherwise, let's not punish ZANU-PF because they won the elections or they've got strategies to be in power. Let's not punish ED and quarantine him because he had strategies to be in office. Let's deal with the reality. ED is saluted by the army, and anyone who commands the army, whether legally or illegally, is the president of the nation. Let's embrace the status quo, the reality, so that we build our country from reality. The issue that is ZANU-PF or they are corrupt or whatever, ZANU-PF is in power. If there's corruption problem in our country, let's confront corruption without saying ZANU-PF must go. ZANU-PF are in power. We are denying reality and we are spending day in, day out, avoiding solutions. We need to come together. We need to come together and be one people. Surely, if I talk to ED with love, he would listen. If I talk to President Monzora with love, he would listen to me. If I talk to anyone, they would listen. We have got hatred in our country right now. Hatred is too much. And we need to stop hate. Hate is killing Zimbabwe. Hate is cancerous. Let's embrace each other and confront our challenges. Seriously, any other medium term, long term, they won't work. Even South Africa to help us, it must be a second option. The first option, Zimbabweans must have homegrown solutions.
Okay. Mr. Tinashe Jonasi, President of Ideal Zimbabwe. I think we've talked for long enough, and I want to bring you back on your normal day. You normally come here on Mondays, and on Monday, we want to talk about the video that you made about sanctions. You were calling upon the new president of the USA, Joe Biden, and the Vice President, Kamala Harris, to deal with the sanctions in Zimbabwe. So I want us to have a long chat about that, your views about those sanctions. And I hope that people here who want to talk about the sanctions can come on Monday, 9 p.m. And we go deeper into these sanctions. These issues are so connected because you are saying something.
And I want anyone who is going to contribute must not come and tell me about corruption. Why? Corruption, because I know the MDC Alliance narrative. Corruption is there in our country, but corruption must not be mixed with the sanctions. If Monday we are talking about sanctions, let's talk about sanctions. If any other day is reserved for corruption, let's talk about corruption. I'm not avoiding corruption, but MDC Alliance is trying to make it appear like sanctions are called corruption. Then America was supposed to say, Zimbabwe, we are giving you smart corruption. There is no way America is labeling sanctions as corruption. No. So I don't want to discuss a narrative. I want to discuss issues. If Monday we are talking about sanctions, any contributor must talk about sanctions. I don't know any contributor who speaks the word corruption must be removed from the platform, because these two are different topics. I had a debate with the Father last month on SABC News. I was on the platform to talk about sanctions, and Father completely 100% was talking on corruption. So I wondered why I was discussing with her, because I was there to talk about sanctions, and she was talking about corruption. So
okay, I don't think Fadzaima here is someone that we can say is contributing to the debate in Zimbabwe. Yeah. Ever since she was appointed in MDC Alliance, Mahere has not done much. I don't want to. Yeah. I had so much high hopes for her. I think she has disappointed in terms of communicating the position of the MDC and of Chamisa. So no, I don't even want to spend time on her.
Yeah, Mahere she's brilliant, she's intelligent, but unfortunately, MDC Alliance is a party that is driven a narrative by G40 and the US Embassy. So when you join MDC Alliance, you must say the word corruption in a dictionary is called sanctions. Sanctions is called, it means corruption. In MDC Alliance dictionary, political dictionary, those words means the same. So I would want contributors that would come and talk about sanctions, and I'm ready to engage them, even if they've got different views with mine. We are one people. We have got different thinking. That is acceptable in our engagement. But we don't want to push a narrative. We want to talk issues affecting our country.
Okay. You know, Mr. Jonasi, one thing that I'm getting from you and that I want to make clear to everyone is that we have one country. So myself, yourself, everyone who's watching here, we've got one country, even if it's not being governed properly. So we cannot shine in any other country. No matter how brilliant you are, I don't think anyone here disagrees with me that you cannot shine, you cannot become a star in a foreign country. So everyone wants to go home.
Let me give you an example, Mr. Gambakwe. We have got a Japreza. He is classified ZANU-PF because the Japreza doesn't have a song, a single song that sings the word Emerson Mnangagwa. Japreza doesn't have a single song that mentions ZANU-PF, but is classified ZANU-PF. We have got Kadewere, a young boy who is a star in I think in France, and he comes to Zimbabwe and he meets the president of the country, the only president of the country, and is given a book and is given a scarf and is labeled ZANU-PF. I mean, what sickness is that? I want to tell the MDC Alliance supporters that Chamisa will never replace ZANU-PF, because the Chamisa is the old ZANU-PF of Robert Mugabe that insults people. That insults people. There is no political party in Zimbabwe that has got supporters who insult people more than MDC Alliance, and their leader is purporting to be a pastor. Chamisa, I think it's only MDC Alliance whose the president is a pastor, but the supporters they insult with even vulgar. And I think probably Chamisa must just come out and go and resign as a pastor, because if he's a pastor, then he's a Satanist.
Okay, I don't think you'll be very happy about that. I think he's a true pastor. You know what, Mr. Jonas? I think let's wrap it up here. And to everyone who's watching from home, thank you very much. And I want to make a point. I don't censor anyone who comes here. The way they speak, that's how they are supposed to speak. And obviously, sometimes we give an allowance on the left and on the right. So, Mr. Jonas, thank you very much for joining me today for this long discussion. This situation is developing. If anything comes up and you want to contribute, Philip, if you want to talk tomorrow, is available. WhatsApp me and I'll give you a platform. And I'll be having the MDCT guys. So we'll take it from there. So thank you very much for joining me, Mr. Jonasi. And we'll talk again on Monday. And everyone who's at home, thank you very much.
Yeah, and my last words is that political parties stop issuing press statements about Beitbridge. We want contributions, big or small. Press statements it's campaigning, political campaign. Zimbabwe demands solutions, not press statements, not comments, not anything. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And good night to everybody.